All right.
One question regarding minutes. December 16th, we didn't have any for January 6th. And I brought up the issue about minutes that were 2 months behind that.
You just got January 6th, I think,
We just,
didn't you?
No,
Yep.
we just did January 6th, but this on there, we didn't have any from December 16th.
Yes, Brian was supposed to get me the December 2nd, I think it was, minutes. There was none for the 16th. I didn't receive them yet, so we'll have to be after them.
And then we had another minutes going back 2 months ago that were never approved.
Okay, we'll check on that.
let's
and
take a
try
look
and
at
get
that.
those resolved
see if
this
we
time
can.
around.
Yeah. Thank you. That would be good. Communications and reports. Anybody from the PSBC have anything?
Nope, nothing.
Very good. Consultants, of which we have none.
None?
Staff and program.
So we have a couple of new things on new business, which we can address when we get down to there. Kelly can fill you in on current status and what's going on the two schools. Middle school is, we're expecting the glycol tanks to arrive early February. Right now, all the information that was required for the regrading of the level spreader over at the middle school has been sent to the contractor. I'm waiting on a schedule from him. It's gone through planning. They say we do not need an additional wetlands permit, so basically they'll be working from the tree line on the north side toward the level spreader and moving some of that soil over towards the corner by the Groton Long Point Fort Hill Road corner there. There's a little swale or a little depression there, and they'll be filling that, regrading that area. So as soon as I get a schedule, I can pass it on, or Kelly can, or Tammy can, but someone will. I think that's all we have. Middle school wise, all the POs are closed. Also, we had the final two today. I was expecting to have what they now call an SCG 49, which really isn't used much today. So as soon as I get that from Emily at Arcadis, I'll forward that on to you folks so you can take a look at what it is. I did do, and we could talk about that later after the projects. I did provide a spreadsheet on where we are cost-wise on the schools. The high school price is what it is, the cost. The elementary schools are, I've got the best estimate I have, which has been very close to what we end up with in the end. So it looks like the town cost is 79 million, if you will, plus change. The referendum, I don't know if I have that thing I could bring up. Yes, I can. I could share it here if you'd like to see it, Bob.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay, let me share it here. Let me see, when I go down here, it says share screen. Okay, share screen. And I'll hit this thing. Where are you?
There we go. Whoops.
You
There
have
we
it?
go.
No?
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't on mine, which is okay. So this I had prepared once before. I gave it to my boss. He was supposed to pass it on to the town. Never got quite approval to release, but I figured I at least you folks need to know where we stand financially with the project. So on the left side is the original project cost. The reference is slightly less, if you would, than what the referendum value was. The estimated project final cost is what it is. Like I said, the high school is in yellow, the middle school, because $81,030,056 is the final cost for the middle school.
That
I've
number's
also
not going to change.
not going to change. Also, the estimated budget for that school, that 9 million includes the 4 million that was slated to buy property, which we didn't. And the reimbursement rate has been adjusted, project cost down 5% to provide a more realistic value on what it is, because typically it's, 5 to maybe a little bit more percentage that doesn't get reimbursed. So the elementary schools, Cutler, is the 80% reimbursement. So what you see there is our best estimate. Also West Side, similarly. So the total cost, adding in the title insurance, which the town manager directed we buy, is, 79,746,000 and change. So, and total project cost is a little bit less. It's 169 million, I'm sorry, as opposed to really the 184 million that was what was the referendum value. So, and over in the right corner, right side, the far right side, you see the reimbursement amounts. Those are the amounts that have been reimbursed through the end of the year. We will get no more reimbursement until the audit is complete. To add kind of insult to injury, not only is that 12 million we're not reimbursed, but if you look at the total project cost that started out and the 169 million cost, they're holding, the state is holding 11% of that. So what that means is the town either has to buy some bond anticipation notes to cover that until the audit's done, or they have to bond that amount. So we could end up bonding 90 some million as opposed to the 79 that's shown there until that the final reimbursements from the state come back. The middle school, we are, O&G has completed their review list of the change orders. If you will, they need to set up a meeting with OSCGR to go through those to see if we can recover any costs of those change orders that were determined ineligible by the state. So that's all that work's underway right now. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but that's kind of where we are financially.
One question then, Rick, looking at the numbers here, the changes and everything else, from what the 2020 committee left it was at 184 million, and 84 million was the town cost, 100 was the reimbursement cost. So we're still coming under the 84 million, even if we have to go out the bond right now.
Yeah, but we're still coming under the town cost. The reimbursement is probably not what we'd be expected. The way the formulas kind of work out, the town always, even though you save money on the project, the town always ends up saving less than the state. It's really kind of a weird way. And then if you have to add that 5% or subtract that 5% based on eligibility of things like salaries and legal fees and some other things that aren't reimbursable to start with, plus any change orders that are determined to be ineligible, that lowers, our ability to recover money from the state. So that's why it's important that we work through that. We also have a kind of a second bite of the apple when we get into the audit. If you recall, those that were here recall the schools, particularly Catherine Kolnowski. There was the driveway, for some reason, they decided was not included in the plan for the school. So they didn't want to reimburse us for that driveway. So we went to battle on that and got additional monies for that. And also they used, for the high school, they used the wrong enrollment numbers. And we ended up getting an extra $1 million back on that. So just because we received the letters, which we've only received on the middle school, we haven't received any approval or disapproval letters yet for the elementary schools. It doesn't mean necessarily that that's what it is. I mean, that's the best estimate. So, it could be a little bit, we could get a little bit more money back, I guess I could say. But the overall price of the project doesn't change because of that. It's just the reimbursement and the cost.
It's a question of where do we get the money?
And the cost to the town may change a little bit.
Right.
But it also limits the town council from trying to spend any money from this project.
No, it
I'm having
doesn't.
trouble hearing you, Kevin. Can you?
I said it also helps eliminate the town council trying to spend any extra money from what we might have left, not knowing the additional costs going down the line.
Right, there are some kind of checks and balances on that a little bit, in that anything that's done has to meet the educational specifications, or at least be addressed in the educational specifications and approved by the bond council. So looking at that, we could say, hey, don't spend this much money, because then the taxpayers don't have to pay for the bonds for that amount of money, kind of thing.
Yep.
So you can see how that they are currently, and I don't get involved in it at all, they are currently working up their latest bond purchase. What they typically do in finance is they'll take monies that we may owe the state or the contractor or the town is spending out of pocket, and combine it with other projects and do a bond issue. So they're working on one right now that may not cover all the things we're talking about, but a piece of it anyway.
So how far are
Okay.
we away from going to state for audit on the middle school?
We need to get the final change order review done with them, and then they need to provide what they call an ineligible worksheet. So that's the last item that we have for them.
Okay,
So we're pushing to get that right now. We do have their evaluation information. We just need to push them forward and get that meeting with the state set up.
okay.
Rick, Brian's trying to get in.
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna unshare here, so he raised his hand. Let's see, Brian Panel. Oh, I can do this. Hey, I'm doing okay with this thing. More, I'll get him, promote the panelist. Come on.
There he
Okay,
is.
he's promoted. Hey, Brian. We just went through a little bit through the closeout stuff on high school and explained to them, and you've seen the table. And your kind of squished head sideways thing there. Oh, there you are.
So I wanted to, I've been here, I heard all the conversation. I wanted to chime in on the answer for the state audit. So
Yeah, go ahead.
as far as timing goes, there's a couple things at play here that are gonna drive that conversation, right? The first thing is obviously the 4,000 form that needs to be submitted. So as a matter of fact, I was on the phone with ONG a little bit earlier today, actually right before this meeting. I was about 5 minutes late because of it, but so that form needs to get completed and then it needs to get submitted. So we have to have the meeting with Barbara, push back on these ineligibles. We have some analysis done. Rick covered all that jazz. As far as when they're physically going to do the audit, none of us have any control over that. I mean,
Right.
the paperwork, the requirements for the middle school is that 1 year within the approval period, since you folks all said, yes, we accept the building and it's moved on. I think that's like July 21st, July 20th, somewhere around that time. So 1 year from there is when you have your time that you can physically submit, right? That's your cutoff date. So the efforts now are to go putting together the rest of this information, pulling down, this meeting with Barbara and going through the ineligibles as Rick sort of laid out. And we need to get a revision of the letters. That revision of the letters gets done. We get those back from OSTGR. Then we take that and we submit the 4,000 form, and then that puts you in the queue. As far as when they physically do that, none of us really have any control over that. There will be some, what we anticipate to be changes that are going to happen here shortly, which is that, as we all know, Costa Diamantes is no longer with the state. I think everybody's clear. We covered that in previous meetings. That job is up for advertisement. So right now, DAS is sort of handling that on the periphery. Bob Selmer and Barbara Fabiani are still doing their job. That advertisement is out, that posting's up. So when the new sheriff comes in town, their role is reduced as far as them being the king. So I don't know I don't know how DAS is going to handle this and how they're going to move this paperwork along, but all of that's going to depend. So I didn't want to make it, where there was any sort of confusion about what that really looked like, because the problem really is we don't know what we don't know. So to answer that question for you folks about time, it's a really difficult question to give a definitive answer on.
And that's the problem I explained with us having to buy additional either bond anticipation notes or bond additional money. It depends on how long a period that is. If it's less interest to buy bonds, I suspect finance will buy bonds. If it's less expensive to do bond anticipation notes, if we get some idea of when that audit may occur, they may end up doing that. So that's kind of out of all our hands, and down in the finance
Yeah. So
director's
let's-
office, and she's been very good working with us on the project. So I suspect that they'll do the best they can. But again, the question goes unanswered: when does the audit happen? How long does it take? And what are the results? Kind of thing.
By chance, are we still wishing for West Side is Bill like new, or we're just settling for the 47.5?
Right now, there's really nobody, and Brian can chime in on this, but there's nobody there to talk to. They're in total disarray at OSCGR. So,
I know a couple of months we were saying that we don't know, it's possible.
Well,
Yeah,
we
I
were
think-
talking about it in a perfect world. Yeah, it is, but it's kind of becoming more and more imperfect. So whatever you got to say on it, Brian, feel free.
No, listen, Kevin, I think it's a reasonable conversation that can be had. We just really need to let the new person get the job, then be assigned, let them kind of get their feet underneath them, and then ask for that sort of meeting to say, look, here's the evaluation of the state law. This is what it looks like. This is what the predecessor did. We disagree with that. We disagreed with it at the time, but we were given a credo. And so we'd ask for you to reevaluate based on what the physical legislation states, which is, we did our due diligence. The state deemed that the building was not reusable, or it wasn't cost effective to do so. So that doesn't put us into that bucket, if you will, of we just decided that we wanted to put a new building in. We disregarded the ability to renovate. So therefore we take a hit. We took, the town is taking a hit because, we were told we were taking a hit. So, so the good thing is, even though that seems like it's far away in the future, we're still working under that year, right? So from the moment that the turnover is officially done, that clock's going to start. That 1 year period will tick off. So, we would imagine that, hopefully within the next, couple of months, the application is going to close. They're going to go through the process. They're going to hire the person. The person's going to come in. So hopefully within the next couple of months, there'll be someone there to physically sit down and have a conversation with.
Hey, a
But
steak dinner
we
won't
have
hurt,
time.
help them.
Yeah, and right now, I think we're late really in getting stuff back from the state on the elementary schools. At this point in time, in completion, we were at least getting letters back on their review of the change orders, so we don't have anything yet. So consequently, that kind of tells us a little bit more about the issues they're having. They're trying to get work done and accomplished, at OSCGR. So that's kind of it in a big nutshell, I guess. So unless there's any questions, I guess, on the middle school and the closeout process there, I would ask that we move on to Kelly and let her do her thing there. Can't,
Yeah, that works.
yeah, you're on mute, Bob. You're on mute again. Your little red antenna. Oh, there you are. Now you are. Now you're not.
Okay. No, this whole thing is acting up. I've been blasted
Oh,
off of it
geez.
a bunch of times. You can take down the projected estimate now.
Okay.
That may help. I don't know. But
Stop
okay,
share.
Kelly,
All
bring us
right,
up to date.
sounds good. We'll start with Mystic River. So the ballistic entrance is now installed. The admin door is installed. The 2 sets of doors going from the vestibule to the corridor is installed. The ceiling in that main entrance area is underway. That is scheduled to be complete end of day tomorrow. If not, they're going to be there Saturday to finish it up. And they're also going to be there Saturday and or Sunday to finish the flooring in the area as well. The lighting in the area is complete. Door operators, access control are all the hardware besides 2 cores are done as well. The camera, smoke detectors, and motion detectors that work's underway. Will be supposedly completed tomorrow. And intrusion detection for the building is underway. They were just doing some commissioning today, and then they're moving over to Thames tomorrow. So intrusion detection will be completed by probably the end of the week at Mystic River. Monument sign is still scheduled for mid-February. There's still a little bit of punch list items going on throughout the building. Some tweaks here and there with new things popping up. That stuff's underway. We don't have a date on the fence at the playground yet. That is still with Luther Fence. I will reach out to them tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to do that today. So I'll get back to you guys on that. I think that's pretty much it for Mystic River. Any questions over there?
Yeah, one question.
Mhm.
If this school right now has to go in lockdown, emergencies, fires and everything else, are all doors, alarms and everything else security wise, the students safe in that building?
Well, so you put a lot of pressure on me to answer that question, but it is at this moment, it's completed as designed, and it is designed to have that function. Intrusion detection, like I said, that won't be done until end of the week. So that obviously is the unoccupied setting. So that isn't until, after hours, but yes, everything that we've done, any work underway, we have brought up to the fire marshal. So when we put anything in place, he has approved it. So what's his name? Tony has been on site and he's seen that the pre-K entrance is the main entrance right now, but Monday is the plan to get that entrance open for the school. And we have let Stephen, the principal, know that Monday is the plan and that he can have his entrance back.
Okay, follow up. Sam, are you satisfied?
I guess that was for you, Sam.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Yeah, Yeah, but his lips aren't moving.
He's thinking.
I'm never satisfied, Kevin.
Don't play political games with me. I want an answer. If I'm going to approve this building to go back to the Board of Ed
Okay,
now,
okay, settle everything down. You asked the question. Sam, what's your take?
I have no problem accepting the project as substantially complete.
Thank you very much.
So I got an
Okay.
email today, and I probably should have shared it when you asked for correspondence. Apologize, Bob. But Steve did send one off, but there are locked doors without locks near the office. So I don't feel confident, actually, I got to tell you, in saying that they would be fine during a lockdown. I'm not in that space. And I don't know.
I'm sorry, Jamie. I was talking about Cutler right now, not your building.
Yeah, I received an email from Steve, the principal.
Okay.
So Jamie, I can
Sorry.
go through Stephen's email. I did share it with Rick and I think he shared it with Bob. So if you want, Rick, I can quickly go through that.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think, Bob?
yeah, what's up, Bob? Are you okay with that? If I quickly
Yeah,
go through
absolutely.
this?
Please
Okay.
do. I think that'll help everybody.
Can
Okay.
you share it? You got it to share? Can you share?
Oh,
it?
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
She can do it.
Might as well share it.
See how that's gonna work. All right, share, share, no, stop, share. screen.
One comment that I will make, because she's getting ready to share things,
Okay.
is that this is not saying everything in the building is completed. There's punch list work that's continuing that will be done. The town's not leaving the building. This is basically a turn of control of the building from the town over to the Board of Ed, where it should be at this point. We were a lot less done, if you will, not that that's germane at this particular point at the middle school, but the things that are of concern are on punch lists. They've been scheduled. The O&G project people are right on top of it, and Kelly's right behind them, kicking them along, so. Just,
Okay, well, let's
just
let
to put a
Kelly
little
go through
context
this.
Yep,
Yeah, so most of these items, if not everything, is on the punch list, so that will be attached to that substantial completion letter that Rick is talking about. So the badge readers here, they replaced a card. So yeah, so today they had for some reason it just went down. They were on site, they fixed it immediately. So they're now going through the whole system once again, making sure that all the bugs are fixed. So that was just something that happened randomly. Lock sets, so this is Jamie's concern, lock sets that are not in several offices. So that I was told is going to be happening at the end of this week, which is tomorrow. So what happened was Park Railway had a sick, the guy who was on site Monday got sick, had to leave during the day Monday, so he didn't finish. He was supposed to finish, but then he had a quarantine, couldn't come back. Someone came back today, of course, and then they got sent home because they weren't allowing trucks on the road. I know this sounds so crazy. They weren't allowing trucks on the road. So now they're coming tomorrow, supposedly, to put the locks in. So tomorrow. Trim, plastic tape that is actually photoluminescent strips, that is a fire code or required by code, so that has to stay there. The front doors, so yes, that is not complete, but we are praying for Monday, and I will be there tomorrow to double check, make sure that they are in good shape, which I do think they are. Computer cabinets, that we just got the brackets installed, so now I'm just waiting for a schedule to get those in place, and I have talked to Stephen about that already. After I sent this email, I did talk to him.
so you have those for both schools, Tammy? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Kelly.
Yes, yep, both
Yes,
schools.
yeah,
So they will
both
do
schools.
both. They will do both at the same time. I think Stephen only has a handful, but Jamie has none mounted yet. So we'll
Okay.
get those done fairly quickly. I think Tammy, they were done in a couple hours over there at Cutler. Let's see, what's the last one? The blue lights. So I have not heard of anything on this. I will follow up with him tomorrow. I didn't know they weren't working, but they are all installed, and I thought functioning as planned. So I just have to double check, make sure we have the same issue that we had at West Side, which one was just unplugged. That was fixed fairly quickly. So I'll just double check that tomorrow. And lastly, which is an issue also at West Side, the doors, the exterior double doors, they have an issue with the weather stripping. So sometimes when you would push out to leave the building, they would stick and they wouldn't close and latch, which is absolutely a security issue. Those have been removed. So now no matter what, the doors will close and latch, but now they're just a little jiggly. So they like shake. If you touch it, it just kind of shakes, which is unfortunate, but we will fix that. We just wanted to get the safety issue fixed right away, which was getting rid of that weather stripping that was causing it to stick. So it's not sticking anymore. That was completed today and that is done. I have videos of that as well, if anyone wants to see that. And my last little note here is that I'll be here for a little while. So I'm not leaving you guys stranded. I'm here to get this stuff taken care of. We have money in all these guys, so they're not going to get paid till it's done. So we're just going to do our best and laugh at the excuses as to why they're not on site. I hope you guys heard me. Because I can't hear anybody.
I heard you.
Oh,
So-
gosh, thank goodness.
So there's a majority of this work. So a majority of this work is going to be done by the end of the week, which is tomorrow
Hear you.
or Saturday.
Yes, yes, yep.
And so
Okay,
what
and
I
the-
did ask
and the-
Kelly to
and the
give
lock-
us is an
the
updated
lock-
punch list.
And the lock sets that they'll be completed and that says the nurses ones are on order.
So the nurses ones, those are separate from the project. They're a change order. We added those in. They're actually purchased by Sam. So those are separate, completely separate. Yep.
Okay.
Not in our scope of work. Yeah, there is a couple lock sets that I was told in the office area that are, they were in the school on Monday. And then he left with them. If he had just left them, Matt could have installed them himself. So it's just, you can't make it
Okay.
up. You can't make it up. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I did ask Kelly to give us an updated punch list to see that these things are signed off, either tomorrow or first thing Monday morning. And what I'll do is I'll replace the punch list that's in the letter with the new punch list, which I expect to have many fewer items. And we'll go from there. Provided, of course, we'll provide the punch list to you guys on the committee so you can take a look at what's really been done over the last several days there. Because the punch list is a couple days old now too.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay, stop and Sharon.
Oh, we lost Bob again.
Oh, we lost him. That's why it was quiet.
So you're pretty confident that the work that's basically security related anyway, because that's the biggie, that will be completed.
For Monday, yeah, the entryway being opening, which was, I know, one of the concerns that everybody
Okay.
had, and that is
All right.
scheduled for Monday.
Okay. While we're waiting on Bob,
You want me to do the quick rundown for Thames River?
do a quick rundown on the
Oh,
other school.
Bob's
while
back.
we're- Okay. Let him come in and come back on and see what he wants to do now.
He's up. You're mute, Bob.
Okay, we're back. I
Thank
don't
you.
know what happened, but
Yeah,
all of you guys froze and I couldn't get out. All right, where are we?
Dave
Well,
just moved up to the west side.
So Bob, we went over the list and now
Okay.
we are ready for Thames River, if you are.
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay. All right, so Thames River, the main entryway ceiling is now completed. The flooring is completed. Door operators and cameras are up and running. Camera is always running. I don't know why I said that. Now, the only thing missing at the main entranceway now is some cores at the ballistic doors, and those cores are what function the panic bars to be dogged down. So everything is lockable, but we just can't dog them down right now because we're missing those cores on the interior of the building.
so if people understand what that means, it's like if you've been here at the annex, we can dog down the push bars at the front entrance, so you can't open the door from the outside.
Right.
So the doors cannot be opened from the outside. They could still be open for egress from the inside.
Right.
And they can't be put in a condition where they can be open from both sides without dogging those down. So
Right.
we discussed that. And Sam, you can speak into it if you want, but we discussed that, and that's not a security it shouldn't be an issue for lockdown, at least in our mind. So unless someone has something else on that.
I agree. So with that intrusion detection, they'll be there tomorrow to begin that work, which takes about 2 days to complete the install, and that will power up all of your ADA panic buttons. So right now those are installed and wired, but they're not activated until the intrusion detection system is live, and that should be mid next week. Same thing, punch list is ongoing throughout the building. We have some doors to fix over at the loading dock area, try and get that gap that you can, where you can see the daylight on the bottom fixed at both schools. And then the ACM panels outside area C, first floor, those are wrapping up as well. And that, I believe, wraps up Thames River.
All the locks and everything are installed on Thames River?
We have all locks installed. There's one in the media center going into the conference room. Right now, it's just the it's keyed wrong, so we're just waiting on a new one in there.
But
There's
all
also one on the front
all
door,
external,
There's
all
one on the
external
front.
doors, all
Sorry,
external
Jay.
doors and stuff. as
One at
far
a
as-
time, please.
Go ahead, David.
all security doors and as far as external doors are have locks on them and are functional.
Functional, yes. Jamie, what was missing
Yeah,
that
there's
you said?
one, the external, yeah, there's one on the front door.
A key, a
Exactly.
core is missing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a blank in there right now. But
Oh.
security wise,
Yeah, we're using them. Used it today for the first time. I just have to fix the buzz in for that one door. I don't think it was fixed yet.
yeah, so right now we have all doors contract wise are supposed to, you swipe your card, all 4 doors are supposed to unlatch, so you guys can, so anyone enters in the 4 doors. And talking with Sam and Jamie and Rick, we're going to just have 1 door open. So it kind of just, minimizes all of them opening. So we have to first install all the latches per the plans. Which I don't know when those are coming in, and then they're gonna take the other one offline. So there'll only be one that activates when your card swipe in, or when you phone buzz someone in. And then we have some caulking to do and some painting, some little miscellaneous items around where the ballistic door was installed. There's a big, huge caulk joint that needs to be installed around the whole thing, and then some touch-up paint.
Okay.
But it looks nice.
It's getting there.
It is.
So Jamie,
So-
what are your thoughts on this at the moment?
In regards to signing over?
To the building security? Are you,
Yeah, I mean, as far as the doors being locked and secured, it's a work in progress, seriously, Bob, because we just literally took the cones away yesterday. So today we use them. I had to make sure though, this is the thing with the other building, just getting them in place on Monday. You want to have it, because it was a couple of days that I worked, I think his name's Matt, if I remember correctly, because they kept getting stuck. Too many doors being open. You want to make sure the handicap switch isn't done, but that's not a security issue. But you definitely need to live in those doors before they open them back up to having people use them to make sure they're working properly. I just am still worried about the glass. It's a totally different subject, but that piece of the security I'm not happy with in the design. But as far as the functionality of the doors, they're working.
okay, thank you. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any further questions?
Yeah, if I can ask just one more of Kelly, going back to Thames, the leaks, have they been taken care of?
Yep, we had
Okay.
our John Mansville was out. They are the rep for the roof. They did their inspection. They were happy with it. They had a few minor corrections that need to be made, but that 30-year warranty should be coming shortly.
So we have what, 3 different leaks over at Mystic? So they're all everybody's satisfied with all the areas.
Thames. Everyone
No,
is now
Mystic.
satisfied. Oh, Mystic. I don't know exactly how many leaks there were. There is only one area of concern, and that is going to be checked on the 25th. We'll have the roof contractor on site and John Mansville as well to open up the roof, go inside and make sure that the insulation and the Dens deck is not wet. And if it is, it will be ripped out and replaced at that time, and then patched back up. And the IR scan will take, or IR scan already took place, sorry. And then he'll do his inspection and we'll get the report after that. That's not until the 25th, which is what, Wednesday?
Okay, what I'm
Tuesday.
looking at too on what was sent out to us was you had a leak reported by the media center at one in stairway 1 also. So there were several areas of leaks, that's why.
Okay, yep. So those should be all set now. We're just waiting for a sign off on the design team side.
Thank you.
Very good.
One regulatory item, Bob, if I may.
Jump in.
Okay, on Cutler, we still need to get our certificate, final certificate of site plan compliance. All the screening and stuff has been installed. A walkthrough still has to be done with the planner here. Of course, Diane's leaving and Deb Jones may end up doing that. Also, there was a requirement for the architect to take a video of the screen such as it is, because the planning P&Z is trying to figure out how they approve things or don't approve things based on what they're showing at the beginning and what the final product is. So the town have been tasked as part of the project to provide that video to P&Z. So the architect will be providing that and sitting in on one of their meetings and answering whatever questions are necessary. But all the screens been installed, it's all been painted to match. So the only other items over there are grass and any tree replacement and that sort of thing. But also at, I guess it's been last month or within the last few weeks, we've actually turned over the fields to Sam too. So those are looking fine right now. We'll see how they look in the spring, but some of the other grass is where the issues may be, that may need some reseeding, if you will, in the spring. Cut west, the Thames River, their process is a little bit different. So we have a couple of things on the punch list, like grass and any trees that need to be replaced, but there's no additional requirement for a certificate of site plan compliance because it's part of the CO, if you will, over there. And that's all I have, unless someone has some questions regarding that stuff.
Can I ask a quick question? So there's a lot when that crane or whatever got stuck in the lawn. We still have people out in the courtyard working outside of the windows. Will all of that get fixed with those?
Yes.
big
Yes.
gaps? Okay, good.
Yeah,
And then
not until springtime, but yes.
yeah, what are you classifying as spring? Because we, and I have correspondence back and forth, and Steve said the same thing. March was when you said you were going to reassess it, because we have a pavilion coming soon. And, but not in April, we were till March.
Can you which part? You're talking about the little part around the pre-K playscape? Is that what you're talking about?
Just all of the field to be able to use it for the students and to be able to start.
The fields are available. So whenever, yeah, we've given those to Sam. Sam has the
Okay,
fields.
did not know that. So our students can use those at recess.
Yes, I guess.
That is fantastic.
If it's okay with your facilities person, so that's, but yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah, the sod was looking good. It was adhering well. What we're talking about probably on the fields is outside the fence area, outside the ball field fence, if you will. And
Okay.
maybe, the area that needs to be repaired, and maybe between the buildings and some of those areas where the grass hasn't quite taken off the way it should, kind of thing. So,
Okay.
Those are not areas that you would be using for extracurricular activities.
yeah, at least not. Yeah.
We will be,
Not
Bob.
right now.
We have a BWET grant where they're going to be coming in, like in building, a pavilion for outdoor spaces, and the students are designing them. So yes, we're going to be using specifically outside the fence. Project O is going to come in, and we actually are right before April break wanting to put that pavilion up. And
Yes.
yeah.
So Jamie, we may want to get together on that, Jamie, just so you can show us where that's gonna be, because when we do the planting in the spring, which will be April, there's gonna wanna be a second seeding again in the fall. So we just wanna make sure that we're all on the same
Okay,
page.
yeah,
I mean, obviously where you're putting a pavilion, we don't need to replant that area if you're gonna put something there, but we'll have to just talk about foot traffic and the areas where we are gonna be reseeding.
Because there'll be a lot of it, because we're going to be doing Earth Day celebrations and doing like garden beds and seating with stumps and benches and things like this. So yeah, we'll have to do that. Okay.
So Jamie, too, to answer your question about what spring is, it's defined by the state, really. So it's March 1st to May 15th is the period that you're allowed to plant. There are certain requirements and things that go along with that. And then there is a date that basically gives you, from October 15th, give or take September, late September, early October, where the state defines that as the planting season. It's a regulatory item. So when people say spring, that's the defined time. So everybody sort of gives it's like, well, it's the spring. So, but the spring planting season is defined by the state. So that's that period of time when they talk about. So it'll be, between March, obviously, if there's snow on the ground, right, that's no mas, you can't go there, but that's the definition of the time that they're talking about.
Kelly, I'm meeting with Callie February 8th. I know it sounds far out, but it's the only time that we could do it with our magnet coordinator, Emma, to walk the space of where they're going to pavilion. Do you want me to invite you to it? It's like quick 12:30. I don't know if you're around then. That's the only thing.
Yeah, no, I'll be around.
Okay. I could just send you an invite if you can come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can just show me afterwards. I mean,
Okay.
unless you want me there just to say, hey, you may want
Yeah.
to move over there a little bit.
I just
But
would hate to start.
I-
planning on- Okay. I'll send you an invite just so it's on your radar.
Okay, and we can
Okay.
just talk about it after. If you know the general area you want it, we can just talk after.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That sounds good. Anything else? I don't hear anything.
Nope, I got nothing.
Excellent. All right. I don't believe we have any unfinished business. Thank God. And now we can go to new business. Hi, Tammy. So I did send
Hi.
I did send some documents out to you guys ahead of this operation. They included letters that we received from Public Works indicating that both of the schools are substantially complete and are at a position where they feel it's time to turn them over to the Board of Education. This does not mean that things are going to stop. Everything that is planned to go on will continue to go on. Most of the personnel will still be there, even though Rick won't after the 28th, and we'll be scaling some things down, but the punch lists will still be getting worked on, and we'll still be getting regular reports on what's going on. So given that the Department of Public Works feels that the schools are substantially complete and would like to turn them over to the Board of Ed, I'm wondering if we feel the same way. So let's take one school at a time.
Well, I'm comfortable with sending both of them. As long as you get confirmation Monday that the work that they're scheduled to be done security wise is done by the end of the weekend, or you get a satisfactory answer.
So as I said earlier, Dave, we will provide an updated punch list on Monday. so
Right.
folks can have that to show the completion of those items that were discussed.
Yeah, I mean,
tonight.
I'm just mostly interested in the security aspect, a little bit of
Right.
are there or elsewhere. That's,
Right, I
you know,
understand.
there's a couple security issues that are going to be wrapped up by the end of this week. And I just like to make sure that they're wrapped up before we say, yeah, okay, go ahead, take the building or turn it over to the Board of Ed.
All right.
Well, can we make a motion that, being with what Dave just said, that if the chairperson finds something not to be up to par for security type purposes, he can pull, if we approve it, he can pull it?
So the caveat that you're asking for is that we're going to go ahead and say that the buildings are substantially complete as long as those security issues are completed by when?
I guess prior to the Board of Ed meeting to approve or accept.
To accept? Okay, so which is next Thursday, correct?
Right,
No, it's next Monday
I
night.
mean,
Next Monday.
Monday.
right. So if you get confirmation on Monday that the security issues have been addressed and you're happy with the answers that you do get, then yes, let's turn them over.
All right, I'm going to reverse that just a bit and say, if everybody is okay, I'm going to say that we're going to find that the schools are substantially complete unless I hear otherwise
Yeah,
on
that works.
Monday.
Right,
That way I can sign the paperwork tomorrow.
Right,
And if I have to, I can pull it on Monday.
right, exactly.
Good enough for me, that's all. And we can write that down as a motion for somewhere, or we can keep it as just.
What are you going to
consensus of-
determine as substantially complete? Who's telling you that?
Well, And it is kind of, Bob, it is kind of a misnomer. You're saying it's substantially complete. The buildings are substantially complete as
That's
reported by
correct.
the architect.
I know. So
This is basically a turnover of responsibility of the buildings to the Board of Education. Is what this is. We
It
still
doesn't
have,
change anything.
no, it
Right.
doesn't. We still
It
have
just
punch
puts
list
it,
stuff.
it
that
just
we
puts
have
the
to
whole
do.
thing on the board.
Right.
Jamie, what are your concerns?
I don't, why would you put that caveat? Oh, did I mute? Why do you put that caveat in it? You know what I'm saying?
Because if they
Tell me
didn't
again
finish the
what the
work,
motion says?
One person at a time, please.
I can't hear. What are you saying then? So the motion's gonna go forward saying that, what did you say the motion was gonna be? Because I couldn't hear it. You said you're gonna add in unless you hear something, and that was what all I heard was substantially complete.
So we have 2 letters from the Department of Public Works Director saying that
Got it.
as far as as far as they're concerned, the buildings are substantially complete and they recommend turning them over to the Board of Education. All this does means that the board now has, responsibility for the schools, just as it does for every other school in the place. Do we have any issues with?
But you just said that Dave wasn't happy with saying yes to this unless he gets word on Monday or something. It
No,
cut
no,
out, you guys, I missed
I'm
it.
sorry, what he was concerned about was the couple of security issues that are on the punch list
Okay.
that have not been completed yet, that if they are not completed by the time the board is supposed to meet on Monday, then I'm going to pull our recommendation.
So suggestion, why don't you say the schools are turned over pending completion of A and B, and Kelly can give us A and B. That's a little better way than saying, hey, we're gonna pull it if it's not completed, but it's pending completion of 2 items would be probably, in my mind, a cleaner way to address that, if you will.
Right.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So having said that, I would like Kelly to read us what the 2 items are, so we all know.
We all know. I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of think along the same lines a little bit.
All right, I'll tell you what's in my mind. So, West Side or Thames River, I don't think we have anything that has to be completed for this approval. But Mystic River, there's 2 items. I believe one is opening the doors, having them open by end of day. We're saying by the time the meeting begins for the Board of Ed. And then the second item would be there's the lock sets in the admin area. Is that
Right. Right.
that's a safety concern? A
Yeah.
security concern? Because I honestly, I hope it happens, but I don't see that as a security concern. Jamie, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I want it to be done, but there's still, let's see, when did Matt say that was going to be done?
So if I could again, it sounds like Thames River, there's no issues. So if there's no issues on the one school, I would recommend you approve that and we move forward on that.
Right.
On the other one, if you have some reservations, maybe it's addressed to the one school.
Okay, well, then-
Cutler's my problem.
Yeah.
If it's ready or not, that's the one. Thames is not my problem. According to the punch list and everything else that needs to be done, I'm not concerned about Thames.
Okay. So can we separate those, Bob, please?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're 2 separate
Yeah.
operations anyway. Kevin, what
Yeah.
are your specific concerns at Cutler or at
Well, basically what
Mystic
Kelly
River?
just brought up, it is the lock sets, the doors, and that's my whole security issue.
Okay. Okay.
So lock sets in admin area and main entryway opened.
Right.
Are those the 2 things, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Unless
just want to
he
make
comes
sure that
up-
we,
Unless
So-
he finds another security problem in between that time.
No. So main entryway opens. What's that mean, Kelly? Does that mean is
Open for
the
use.
ceiling, everything else is done, or?
I didn't say that. I just said it would be opened.
Yeah, well,
Be
that's my
functional.
question, because I mean, at one school that chose not to open, right? So what does that really mean? What's the definition of that? So we're all on the same page.
My definition of that would be the cones are removed and that the school can use it for their main egress.
So it's ready to be open
Correct.
as far as the project's concerned.
It's functional.
Functional, ready to open. And
Okay,
then it's the school's decision on when they do that, right?
Exactly. We can say, hey,
Okay.
it's ready. You can open it if you'd like. And then like what Jamie did, she took a day to just look at it, making sure she was comfortable, and they can take as many days as they'd like.
Yeah, and that was a good move, I think, yeah.
It also has to happen for people to know it's open again. So you had to,
Right.
you know, send a flyer home and communication. So it will be a couple days for him.
Right.
okay, so then.
But that
even
type
a
of
cou-
thing is not going to stop us from saying that, the building should go to the Board of Ed.
Right.
What the
And
school
the admin,
chooses to do.
and the admin locks, then is that a big security risk? Is it? I mean, I know Kelly, she didn't see it as a security risk, and that's okay. If it's not, it's not.
That's not my call. Jamie would be the best to know that, but
I don't know what.
Well, actually.
I don't
actually,
think
the other-
it's,
No locks.
so the thing is, it's not, there's like the lockdown area room, everything locks, right? It's just not exactly how it was intended to work. So everything locks. So if you get locked in you turn a corner, you're locked in the room. So
Well,
it's definitely
this is
secure.
why I wanted Sam, he gave his input too, that he'd be satisfied with taking the building, but I just want to, and like Dave, we want to make just sure that the security is there for the little kiddos
Mhm.
and the staff.
Then my question would go out to Sam, would Sam, are you comfortable with this building the way it is? Taking it over?
Yes,
No, if Sam's comfortable, I'm comfortable with it. I mean, he's the one that's got to deal with all, most of the issues. I mean, we'll get updates and stuff, but, if he's comfortable and the building is safe and secure, then I'm comfortable turning it over.
Very good.
I mean, I agree with Bob. It's not like work is just going to cease and stop. The issues that we seem to be stuck on, those will be addressed. They just might not be addressed by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Correct.
Right. So I'm okay with that.
So just to be clear though, so when we turn these over, like the different things that need, those punch list items though are done by the contracting. It's not Sam taking over now.
That's
doing-
correct.
Right.
Then I.
So you missed
unless
you
it's
missed
something
one
that
thing
kind of-
earlier. Excuse me. You missed one thing earlier, Jamie, that Kelly was telling us, and that is that all of these subcontractors don't get paid until they're finished their stuff. And so that's the leverage that we have over them. Pretty much the only leverage we've got over them is that they're not going to, see their final pay until they've completed the job.
Well, and even so, if there is something that pops up that's really not, that construction has been completed on, Kelly would act like Tammy did on the middle school. And if we needed to assist Sam in getting the contractor out there to perform his warranty work, I'm sure Kelly would help do that. But at some point it becomes warranty work as opposed to contract work.
Contract, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is actually no different than what we did with the middle school. And in fact, I think the middle school was not as far along when we did it.
Right. I agree.
The kids were knocking down the door to get in.
All right, so if people don't have any issues, then I think it's probably fine for us to go ahead and utilize the wording that the town resolution, and I can go ahead and sign those, and I will
Yes.
sign the
So-
letters from us to the Board of Ed.
So I would request that if you are going to use that resolution, that resolution be entered into the minutes. So it's clear, because OSCGR needs to have that clarity that the schools have been turned over, and the Board of Ed will ask to do the same thing, that they have been accepted. And then we can move forward with the rest of the closure stuff and continue the punch list work, of course, on that.
You
There
wanna-
is one mistake, and I'll point out to Brian later on, but in one of the letters, I got the wrong project number put in on the resolution, but
Oh, yeah.
that's an easy fix, so.
Do you want a motion for each building, or do you want a motion for both together?
You should do them independently.
Right.
I'll move that the Permanent School Building Committee pass a resolution recommended that Thames River Magnet School be accepted by the Board of Education.
Thank you, Kevin. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. All in favor?
Hey, before you do that, do you want to call it Thames River Magnet, or do you want to stick with it? Because this is going to the state again, right?
Yeah, it has to be West Side, unfortunately.
West
because
Side
that's the
Construction
grant was
Project.
Yeah,
Just west side.
but if you do
Just
it in
West Side.
accordance with the resolution I wrote, it does have both names. in there.
Yeah, the resolution states Thames River West Side School.
Yeah.
So
And we
Very
can copy
good.
the language. We can copy the language from the resolution. So, I mean, you don't have to necessarily read it all if people aren't,
No,
unless you
no,
want to,
no,
right?
yeah, this is one, right,
Well,
okay.
that's their resolution. They sent it to us.
No, that's why I'm saying you don't have to read it through if you don't want to. We have it. We'll add it accordingly.
Right.
Yeah, we just attach it to the minutes.
I
Okay,
can-
for the Permanent School Building Committee, I move pass a resolution recommending Mystic River Magnet School, also known as the Cutler Project, Elementary School Project, be accepted by the Board of Education.
Yeah, and I'll second that one too.
Thank you, guys. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have reached a milestone here. Very, very good.
Yeah, thank goodness. As opposed to a millstone, it's a milestone.
That's great. That's great. It now belongs to the Board of Education.
Hi, Sam.
Sam is the new king of
Sam's
the
the proud
keys.
owner of the,
Oh, wait, as of Monday, he'll have them.
Thanks.
well,
Exactly.
yeah, the board still has to approve it, Sam, so you still got.
Yeah, I still got 48 hours.
Yeah,
I'll remember this moment.
Hey, Rick, if we have a couple of hours left over, get a case of beer or a bottle of wine.
That's not part of the ed spec.
Yeah, if we're not
well,
gonna
it could
get
be part of
reimbursed.
Jamie's growing grapes out in the back.
Better believe some apple trees.
Well, we can make
Great.
cider, yeah.
I'm
we go.
excited. Our greenhouse.
All right,
Yeah, it's true.
No, that's excellent.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right. That was pretty much the stuff that we had. Does anybody have anything that they feel they need to bring up?
I just wanted to
Otherwise,
say- we still have the staffing issue to talk about. If you're done with the school part of it.
I think we're done with the school part of it.
Okay, so unfortunately, they're retiring my position, so they're laying me off. That's effective the 28th of January. There are quite a bit of paperwork need to be done, which a lot of it's going to be falling on Arcadis. I have been signing off any number of change orders. In fact, my hand is sore, from signing all those change orders to get that done. And that's how we developed the numbers that you saw on the table, was those change orders, those that are outstanding, those contract values that we've paid. We are on the construction part, slightly over on each project, but we're recovering money from other areas. So it's as far as the bottom line of the project goes, we're still under budget on the projects, slightly over 3 million on Cutler and about 2.6, 2.7 on West Side, if I got those schools correct. And it's still 5 million because we have a final price or cost on the middle school. So I'll be working through the end of next week, trying to finish up those things that I can get finished up. And then we'll have to see how this all works. There is a new person too, Justine Secor, I think is her last name. She's replaced Brandon in our office, if you will, and has done the agenda for this time. She's been trained to do that. So she'll be the point of contact. I can send you that information, Bob, so you have that.
I have it.
Or actually, you may have it on the agenda stuff that she's sent out.
Yeah, I have it.
So, yeah, she's very competent. She's good, easy to deal with. So I think you'll have an excellent time working with her. And I'll let Brian go into the staffing changes that are happening in Arcadis and O&G. They both downsized, but I'll let Brian explain that a little bit and we'll go from there. So it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I'll be around the neighborhood. So
Just one
I
question.
only live down the street. Every time I go someplace, I pass this place. So I just got to
Yeah.
train the car to go straight ahead as opposed to pulling in the parking lot. So,
Why are they actually pulling you from this at this time?
I haven't got a reason really. No one could really tell me. I know they've written another PD for, and it's basically very similar to the job I'm doing now. So the only thing I can think is they don't want to transfer me back to planning because they want to hire a new person in to do the sustainability stuff. Why right now? If you look at the budget numbers, we still have only spent 75% of my salary on the two budgets. But it's a decision that the public works director told me. I did send an email off to the town manager who directed me back to my boss. And I did send him a list of items that were a request, but could also be used for things that have to be done as a turnover list for the department. So that's, unfortunately, it kind of is what it is at this point. So it's kind of mixed feelings, but
Yeah,
I think we
I
put
know,
some
I
good
bring
projects
this up
together. And
because going back before, as this project was first starting, the town council appointed the town instead of the permanent school building committee in charge of certain things. But now all of a sudden, who is handling everything?
the director of public works. The town didn't.
There's no
appoint the
change there.
permits. Yeah, there's a little. So the director of public works will be the point of contact until he says otherwise here. So that's Gary Hanover. It's G.Hanover or G Hanover at Groton-CT.us. .gov if somebody needs to get a hold of him, same as my old one was. So he's going to be a busy fellow, so that's okay.
Okay, just trying to understand it.
Well,
Or
so
wait.
am I, so am I, so that's okay.
All right, Brian, you have some updates.
Sort of. So I'll let Tammy go first because I know she wants to say something. So I'll let her go. And this is just a preface to sort of the downsizing of our staff. So go ahead, Tammy.
So I just want to let everyone know that this will be my last permanent school building committee. Absolute pleasure working with all of you on all three schools. They came out absolutely beautiful. I know everyone has put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hours, and just working with you has been great. And I've learned so much on this program that I'm just going to be taking it on to a lot of lessons
That's unfortunate.
learned. It's been a pleasure. So.
It certainly has been. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but now we got Kelly, so you gotta.
Kelly's
All
gonna
right.
do a great job. I mean, she
Yes.
already has with the other two projects, so she's gonna do phenomenal. And I'm always here if anyone has any questions on anything.
I'll be bothering you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tammy, for all the, thank you, Tammy, for all the hard work and effort you put into these schools.
You're absolutely welcome.
Okay, Brian, so there's no more bad news, is there?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, is there bad news? I don't have all the definitive information, and this is what I mean, is that right now we have, the plan is to keep Kelly on full-time and to use Zachary, who most of you probably don't know. Bob probably does, and a few people that have been to the site, and Zachary's going to stay on like at a half-time capacity. Marion Spalding, who was the person that was working with Tammy, is also going to kind of go away. Tom Beebe, who was doing the moves, we're in the final throes of the furniture disposition for the existing schools. So once that's completed, those people will all kind of go away. I say this as a reference to the plan, because we don't have sort of official word yet. I have some information into Greg. We're going to, the conversation is that we're going to stay on, we're going to do all this stuff. There's some procedural stuff that we need to work on between, Greg and the town of Groton and Arcadis to get some stuff worked out. But we're not going to stop working until, it's definitive that A, the town wants us to stop working, or B, the town says, yeah, here, let's just finish up and do what we got to do. So it is a plan at this point. It is not, official, because we don't have all the official paperwork kind of worked out. But, as far as the staff remaining goes, and as far as everybody needs to consider here, we're going to have Kelly full time, and we're going to have Zach at a halftime capacity doing, all of the, closeout paperwork, change order stuff. Obviously, we still have the people and the hours in the project do all of the necessary audit preparation, and the people that are sort of working in the background, Valerie Heath, who's been handling all the invoice processing and sending that off to finance and all that, she'll still remain for quite a while too. So, I mean, as of right now, that is the plan. If something changes, I'll let you know, Bob. I'd probably just call you directly. I mean, I'm not happy about the whole situation with losing Rick either. So if that becomes the situation, right, I'll just call you directly, Bob, and let you know if there's any change. But I don't foresee that happening. But again, I just need to sit with Greg and work out some final details. He's on vacation this week. So as far as the next time goes, Arcadis is going to continue to service the town and the needs for the project. We're going to stay on the punch list. We're going to work on the warranty items. And unless someone tells us differently, then that'll be what's going to happen going forward.
So part of the issue is the routing of document signature. There's any number of documents that Greg or somebody from the department is going to be assigned to sign.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be around. So if there's questions that people have, they can always call me. But there are quite a few documents that are actually going to have a town signature in addition to the Arcadis review and the Arcadis recommendation for approval, if you will. And that's a requirement for a state audit and that sort of, and finance, so there are those kind of details that are going to be worked out, staffing of the committee. I know Arcadis is going to be here. I don't know if the town's going to send somebody. So you and I talked about that briefly. That may be a question you need to ask Greg, or is the town going to send a representative to these meetings? Because it's like Tammy is my last one also. So there are those kind of details that need to be worked out. For example, state change orders right now. I get them signed by the architect, signed by ONG, they come to me, they get scanned, they get sent to finance, finance signs them, they get scanned again with the new signature, they get sent to our people at the Board of Ed, they sign them, then they go back to Arcadis, who sends them back to ONG. So there is any number of processes that are going to have to be sort of sorted out as they go forward with this thing. And I know Brian's been having discussions, and he and I have had a couple about some of these things. So we'll certainly share whatever information we can too. And
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna do the thing, Rick. I'm not trying to embarrass you here, but Rick's done obviously a great job the whole time, right? And he's been the cornerstone of the project, and without question, for supporting us, for supporting people, for hacking through the weeds, you know what I mean? But the reality of the situation is Rick, is a true gentleman. And so he went through and created all these lists of processes, sent it off to Greg. I mean, he's made it abundantly clear the transition couldn't be, any more well presented than what Rick's done. I definitely want the committee to recognize that and understand that, that there are things that are going to be worked out. Are we going to see Greg here with Arcadis? Potentially. Is Greg going to be the one signing the documents? Yes, that's my understanding of the situation. So, but these processes will be defined, but just as a nod to Rick, right? I mean, like, even though the situation, isn't ideal in any ways, in anybody's sort of like, heart of hearts here, he did put all the effort in to go ahead and make sure he flagged all those things and call all that. So, I'm not a town person. I'm not a town employee. I don't live in town, but I just want to recognize the fact that, hard worker, true gentleman, true to his word, staying with the project the whole way, despite adversity. I mean, look, he set us up the best that we can be set up. So thanks, Rick, for all the support and effort. I mean, we really appreciate it.
Oh, definitely.
Well, let's put it like this. I mean, I can go back to at least 2003. Bob could speak for himself. He goes back way past 2003. And Dave also been involved with Rick from the first time we started building the new schools.
Oh, yeah.
Rick's been around even before that, doing many things in this town. So many of us know and appreciate Rick for all his work.
Well, thanks. And I should say, Bob, that I really appreciate the support of the committee. We, in that letter, they drafted for you, we were able to have value added on so many things, but that was basically something that I may have brought up, that I was able to garner support from you guys so we could go forward and come up with a better product and value added to the project. So I definitely appreciate your guys' support throughout the process. I know sometimes you may want to have more information. Sometimes things were just moving so fast that really couldn't be provided, but I tried to keep you cut in as best I could. And I think, we had a good team on this project, Arcadis, us, O&G. I'll put them at the bottom of the list, but they're working and they're getting the stuff done. Particularly the entryways. We said, hey, they have to be done by this weekend because we got to turn the buildings over, But it was a good team, I think, that was assembled. Sam has always been there. If we had a question on the end user, him being the final customer, a lot of questions went to him. Do you like this? Do you like that color? What do you think about this or that or the other thing? So I think we had a really good team together on all three schools, even though we had some changes, modifications along the way. And, things came out well. And the proof is kind of in the pudding, that when I walk around the schools and I talk to teachers, everything is positive. I've heard very few really negative comments, if you will. So I think the staffs are happy. I mean, we're certainly happy at the town that the projects came in less than what we anticipated, just because of the way the bids fell and the climate at the time for bidding. So I think things all worked out for the best in the end. So I thank you all.
Very good. So we can expect to not notice any changes whatsoever. It's all going to be smooth as ice.
Well, I can take a picture and put it on the Zoom so you can have a picture.
Cardboard cutout of Rick.
Really? In one of those inflatable ones that does the.
Well, like airplane.
No, the.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Anyone have any last thoughts before we put this to bed? Hearing none, I
No.
will thank all of you for your time and effort.
The only thing I had, Bob, was, are we gonna need a meeting in 2 weeks?
If for no other reason than for me to be able to tell you that the Board of Ed accepted the schools.
That would be fine.
I'll keep in touch.
I mean, if we don't need a meeting, we don't need a meeting. I mean,
Yeah,
that can be
yeah.
done.
Right.
That
That can be done in that could be done in an email. That's fine.
Absolutely. I hear you.
Yep.
You know, and then maybe the second meeting in February, we'll have a better update on where we stand with all the punch lists by then.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is plan a get together to send Rick off properly.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be
I would
here. I'll be
enjoy
there.
that.
Yeah,
We can talk offline
Yeah, good. That's a good
after the
idea.
I'll
meeting.
be there.
Good idea.
okay.
Yeah, listen, if there's any changes in meetings or whatever it may be, you know, I guess just let us know, right?
You will know.
I know. I'm just saying, I'll communicate back with you though, once I sort of have things, you know, squared around with Greg and who's going to attend, you know, whether Kelly's going to come and I'm going to come, or whoever the representative is, whatever I find out, I'll share with the group as soon as I know.
Very good. And, you know, whatever I used to send to Rick and whatnot, I will include you on now as well.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Otherwise, everybody go get some sleep.
Yeah, well, get some
Yeah,
food
we
first
heard
and then
about
some.
I was gonna say, I'll start with
Oh.
dinner, but yeah.
I'm gonna go to Black and Blue down the street here.
Ah, there you
I've
go.
heard they've changed their menu a little bit, became a little more indigenous person friendly as opposed to a tourist trap.
Ah.
thing.
How's Ford's?
That's the Black and Blue Ford, yeah.
Are
It's
they
black
good?
and blue, that's why. I don't know, I'll let you know after tonight, Kev.
All I
Okay.
know about it is that a friend of mine was down there a while back and they charged him $5 for the ice cube.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've changed according to my daughter, but I'll find out tonight. Let you know. Okay.
All right,
thanks,
everybody, have a
Good night.
great evening. I'll be in touch with
Alrighty.
all of you.
All
Okay.
right, take care. Good
Okay,
night.
night.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Tammy, Brian, Kelly's already ran away. Oh, yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Sam. We'll talk.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Talk to you later, Rick.
Yeah, okay. Take care.
Take care.